Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Royal Linda Austin. I'm going to be joined shortly by Kura Chihota. He is a Zimbabwean based in Zimbabwe and a professional in the property space. He is coming to South Africa tomorrow to talk about REIT. And guess what REIT is? REIT. That's what we are talking about shortly with Mr. Kura Chihota. For those who know what a REIT is, you can post what is a REIT. REIT. That's your quiz before Kura comes on board. We just want to talk about investment, talk about what is possible. There are many people who don't know what is happening in Zimbabwe. And good afternoon, Kura. We are not yet connected. No, good morning, Kura. Hello, good morning, Kura. Good morning. Good morning, Kura. Hello. Hello. Waiting for Kura to get the audio up and running. Anthony, how is DC? Website Fupi, you're welcome. We're waiting for Kura to be live. Kura? Hello? Hello, Kura? Hello, Kura? We're struggling with the volume, I think, on the side of what? This one is more reliable, user-friendly, Mfuzi. It works very well. So I hope Kura can get, I'll send him a message. Tinashe Real Estate Investment Trust. Tinashe got it there. That's what we call a REIT. And Kura will explain shortly what a REIT is. Morning, Fuzi. Hello. Let me try on WhatsApp. So let's see whether we can get him. Kura, just send. Hello? 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 Let's see. It looks like we got a problem with his connection. Hello? 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 Okay, this is Literacy 101 about an instrument. It's a trust that is within the real estate ecosystem. It's called a real investment trust. For the people who want to know more about it, if you want to know more about what a REIT is, just shout. Otherwise, I will assume that you know what a REIT is before we bring Mr. Chihota in. Good morning. Hello? 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 So what is a REIT? If you have an interest in understanding what it is and what it is not, please shout. Mr. Chihota? Hello? Mr. Chihota is not reachable. Mr. Chihota? Hello? 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 So you can see to connectivity, stream. Hello? 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 So let's see whether he can connect. Hello? 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 It looks like Mr. Chihota is hello? 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 Kura must try to clear the cache and cookies on his device and reconnect. That comes from Anthony Magwaza. Let's see whether it is a problem. Hello? 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 Yeah, we seem to have a problem with hello? Is interested in property. Okay, blessing, Kamtema. Hello?
I hope we're winning now.
Yeah, okay, yeah, we're getting there.
Are we winning now?
Yeah, no, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Fantastic.
Okay, good morning.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, I'm with you.
Hello, good morning. Yeah, I've
Good
asked
morning.
the question, how many people are interested in property? as an investment product. And there seems to be a number of people that are interested. So before we start, maybe you can start by introducing yourself and then your interest in property.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I'd love to say Zimbabwean born and bred. I was actually born in Lusaka, but raised in Harare. I've been in South Africa since 1990. I returned home to Zimbabwe in 2016 to take up the post Chief Property and Investment Officer, National Social Security Authority in Zimbabwe. The portfolio was about 180 million US dollars at the time, and I was responsible for strategy, implementation, development, management, and all of that good stuff so that people's pensions were taken care of. In South Africa, I was the director of 2 listed REITs, one being known as Fortress Income Fund, had a market cap of about 54 billion Rand, invested mainly in South Africa and Eastern Europe, as well as a much smaller fund that was entirely South African focused called Patprop. I was the chairperson of the investment committee in both of those funds, and real estate is what I left Zimbabwe to go and study at REITs, and it's all I know how to do.
Okay. Is it the same NASA that we hear about, or it's a different NASA?
The one and the same.
So you were
fifth biggest balance sheet in Zimbabwe, I imagine.
Were you part of the Auditor General's report, or you were not there yet?
I was part of the Auditor General's report.
Okay, we shall not talk about it. We shall talk about you, the person. So this is Mr. Chihota. He's an experienced professional who has been able to cross borders with his knowledge. I came to South Africa, went back to Zimbabwe. And when you look at Zimbabwe property market, in the names of the people who are involved in the value chain, are you satisfied that people know each other? Are you satisfied that the people involved in the value chain?
The way. I just heard the people involved in the value chain.
Yeah, are you satisfied that people in the value chain know each other? Hello? Hello? I guess you can't hear me. Hello? Hello? A problem with your signal there. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Hello? Hello? Kura?
Is my signal back?
Yeah, it's back. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Or I was just talking about the individuals involved in the property industry.
Yes.
Are you satisfied that you know each other?
I think we are fragmented, and a lot of people don't take the time to do an end-to-end analysis and how you create value collaboratively. So you
So
A lot of people try and extract.
If you look at the Vatican, can you see the Pope there? Can you see the Pope in?
Not easily, not without an appointment.
I'm saying, but can you see the structure and order of the Catholic faith?
I can.
It is one Pope, it is cardinals, it is archbishops, it is bishops. Can you see an army?
Other than the ones that protect the Pope, yeah?
It is a general.
Yes.
It is some of the lower ranking generals, but the structure and order.
Yes.
If we look at the property industry, who is the general of the property industry? Can you name one person?
No, not one person. I would say the capital markets, but that's not a person.
No, we want a person. Do you see any name?
A shareholder is the closest I'll get.
No, we want a name of where kids can say, look at Ango Kura. Man is in property. He's our Pope. And then others who want to be in property look up to you.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Do you see any structure and order?
No, not as clearly defined as the examples that you have given.
And football, do you see a structure and order?
Always.
Who is the president of FIFA?
Infantino, somebody like that.
That's right. And who is the president of tennis? Let's look at Wimbledon. You may not know.
No.
All right. So do you agree that without order and structure, you can't make money?
You can't optimize making money. You can make money, but it will be suboptimal.
No, you just become a pop star. But you don't have an industry.
Sure.
So we have set up a project called Banking on Africa's Future, where a person like you, I would nominate to be in the property bank of Africa. Our is to find others so that we create structure and
yes.
Then when we talk about a REIT, we are talking about an instrument that allows someone in Australia with money to say, Kura, I can bank on you. And you will then be the vehicle for money to travel all the way from Sydney to Harare and be converted into brick. And then others will use the property.
Yes.
It's life.
Yes.
So if you are out there and you have surplus cash that is yielding 2% or 3%, then we can go to Kura in Zimbabwe. What are the typical yields in Zimbabwe on property?
We in the listed space where we have the best information, because they are obliged to disclose it, we have yields of between 6 to 8%, depending on what the portfolio is invested in.
In real terms or in Zim dollar term?
The results that have come out have been in real dollar terms, but going forward, so the new set of financials are coming out in ZWLs, and with those ZWLs, the yields would it'll be a return on assets basis. So I would imagine the asset price would have inflated and the income would have inflated, but it would have kept us in the same sort of a space. You're not going to make 1,000% return because the property has not, both the rental and the capital value have moved in tandem.
And South Africa, what are the yields?
Those have gone double digits, 10, 11, 12%.
In real terms?
Subtracting inflation in South Africa at about 5%, you get a real return of about 5, 6, 7%.
5, 6, 7%. When you look at the Zimbabwe market and South African market, what are the distinguishing features or differences?
South Africa is deeply liquid with sophisticated financial instruments from listed entities, REITs, both listed and unlisted. Then on top of that, you'll have pension funds that have direct holdings in real estate. You have debt markets that support that. There is a significant domestic medium-term note program that has lent into property vehicles. There's readily available R1 trillion of mortgage finance, and it's tradable and very well informed. You can pick up reports on capitalization rates or valuation rates per node, per asset class, on anything like that. So South Africa, to my mind, and I've been to the United States, I've been to France, I've been to Brazil, to Thailand, to study those markets. And South Africa holds its head up in terms of transparency and liquidity with any of those markets. Contrast that with Zimbabwe.
What is the driver of liquidity?
I think the availability of funds and people wanting to move in and out of positions. They, whatever the user, if it's a unit trust buying because it's sold to pensioners, a stable annuity that's available. If it is somebody parking money for a year or two and then they redeem, there's always a buyer. The doubles are always quite small, and there is willing buyer, willing seller at various scales.
So if you look at Zimbabwe, let's say it's midnight, Kura.
Okay. Yes.
And you're trying to find shining star in terms of policies and also laws. Right now, you were informing me that there is now a legal framework providing for REITs to be part of the ecosystem. Is that correct?
Yes. That is
Who
correct.
in government can you bank on as who understands what a REIT is and what property is and what property is not? Do you see anyone in government?
Playing a regulator role to get the framework through to Parliament and the tax concessions that come along with that, I would have to believe that there is a competence to understand and decipher what a pass-through structure is, what the exemptions are for capital gains tax, and anything that is going to affect the fiscus as it does would require their understanding for them to consent to that. So I'm going to make the assumption that they've technically understood
We don't want assumptions. We want a name. If you don't have a name, it's okay. Then we have to find the name.
All right. I will undertake to from the property market side. I know that the Real Estate Institute of Zimbabwe was engaging with the Ministry of Finance. I'll have to find out who that individual was.
Are you a member? Are you a member of the association?
No, I'm not.
All right, then let's look at pension funds. Are they active in this property space?
They are. The regulator of pensions, the Insurance Pension Fund regulator, puts out a model portfolio that pension funds have to subscribe to. If there's a deviation, there's an explanation that they have to give on why their weightings are different. So I believe the current weighting in real estate is up to a maximum of 25%.
Okay, who is the face of the pension industry?
Grace Muradzikwa.
Okay, do you know her?
I do.
Okay, what is she saying about the property market?
I can't quote her directly on the property market. I can quote her on the need for pension funds to preserve value and to honor the contractual obligations of people who are now retiring and expecting funds out, who are also looking to retain value on a longer basis. So assets such as equities and properties are highly favored.
Okay, so if I were to ask you, as now a nominee of the Banking on Africa's Future, BOAF, so you are number one. Our target is to get 200 professionals in the value chain. We look at the institutional market, and I want you to have 100 or 200 conversations with each one of them, like what I've just done with you.
Yes.
Just to say, I want to know you. And if there's no order and there's no structure, nobody benefits.
Sure.
And
I would be amenable to that.
And this is the digital age. You are coming to South Africa, but already we've met.
Correct.
If you want to know what Kura is doing, and Kura now is independent on his own, is looking to put together vehicles that would allow investors, long-term investors,
correct,
to use his vehicle to access opportunities in Zimbabwe. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So you are looking for people with funds, and
Correct.
you look at the demand side of the funding side.
Correct. And locally, you'll find people have inherited properties, and they don't have the technical or the capital to develop it further. But they have great locations. It's a farm, a peri-urban farm that can be done for housing. I have a client who has some very valuable land in Borrowdale, located in a family trust. So we're saying, with the land as a means of production, we need some capital, we need some labor, and we need that pope or that general to put all of that together so that we create an asset that has value, that cash flows.
So are you willing to be the face of that? I know Mr. Muradzikwa is the face of the funding side. Is that correct?
I missed you on who the face of the funding side is?
Ms. Muradzikwa of the institutions.
She is the regulator, so yes.
But she comes from the funding side.
Yes, she does.
But do you see anyone with a passion for the property industry who can become a Jack Ma or a Bill Gates or a Strive Masiwa of the property side?
I am grateful to be in this environment with a good number of us who are striving and trying to make that so.
Okay, so if we start today and say we must be able to identify first whether it's a pension fund, whether it's an insurance company, and let's look at the individuals, not the institutions,
I've got you.
so that we can build this church of Jesus.
Hallelujah.
If two or more gather in the name of a REIT, it means a REIT shall come into existence in reality, not by law.
I appreciate that. Mkoma, our technology has let us down. We've just connected, and I'm sorry that I'm going to have to leave the conversation here.
No, that's fine.
I've got a radio interview now at 12:30.
Okay, perfect. So you go ahead and then we'll catch up.
I appreciate. Thanks for the connection,
All right.
Mkoma.
Thank you. So there you have Kura Chihota is a professional in an industry where there is no order and structure. And would you invest in a country where there is no order and structure? Imagine it was soccer and there's no order, there's no league, there's no structure. Would you invest? Why will we have to invest in Zimbabwe where we can't recoup our monies? Imagine you invested in Zimbabwe and you wanted to exit, and you bring dollars, convert dollars into brick and mortar, and then you are told you must exit in bond notes. Imagine you have worked the entire part of your life in a foreign state and raised money, and you want to retire in Zimbabwe. Then you die the day after you arrive. Who is going to buy your house when there is a cash problem? Imagine you build in a remote location and you want to sell. Who would you sell to? What would be the value of the property? So these are the questions that we need to ask. Who is going to change Zimbabwe? Who is going to reform Zimbabwe? Do you see any of the political actors interested or passionate about the politics of property? That money that is in people's hands, you convert it into structures, and that property must be secure. Do you see anyone you can bank on in the Republic of Zimbabwe? Start with the cabinet chaired by the president. Do you trust those people to make the correct choices that will defend and promote your investment in property? If you see one, please be generous to share that name. Let's look at property literacy. Who would that person be? We will never invest in Zimbabwe until that regime is gone. But the regime will not go because the thinking has not changed, Royal Linda. The thinking changes when Zakele, when Kura, when all of us take an interest. We invest money to make money in Zimbabwe. We can't do that. But Zakele, imagine you were part of this bank, banking on Africa's future, and start a conversation on property literacy. Just put your 1,000 rand to be a member, 5,000 rand to be a member, 10,000 rand to be a member, so that as members we have an order and structure. We can now go in and say, Kura, let's talk to you. It's dark at midnight in the property sector. But we do know that people need accommodation. Things are happening in Zimbabwe. But we are not in Zimbabwe. But we have to change Zimbabwe from wherever we are. Not change Zimbabwe per se, but change the ideas that are popular in Zimbabwe. That property does not need structure. That the people who make money, who work in property, don't need structure and order. Just to put the structure and order, Zakele, would you be interested in being part of the men and women that can be in this bank? Not for a transaction, but for knowledge building, standards building, to know what works, what doesn't work, so that we can learn from you how a law can be a good instrument. I agree with you, things are happening in Zimbabwe. Yes, they are happening. But there are many people who are not happening because they don't know what is happening. They don't know who to bank on. Webster, do you agree that where there's ignorance, nobody can make it? Then, but say, Mawere, it's like you are interested in investing there. Let us start so we will follow. Kids follow the elders. I'm saying, let's us invest in building a structure and order, like the Jesuits, like the Catholics. Let us do the things that we are in control of. Let's not ask others to do what they are in control of. There was a meeting with the EAC and the Reserve Bank in a bid to change the narrative of how to recoup the funds, but there's need to have a more powerful voice that can work on creating the machine that will help sanitize the property industry. Exactly, Nyasha. That's what I'm saying. That no change has legs on its own. We have to give the change that we want to see, the legs that the change requires. Marx, as long as weaponized ignorance is in power, Zimbabwe will remain in a shithole. Marx, as long as you say that we are gone, you are the one causing the shithole by talking about the shithole. Let us be the voices of reason, the voices of change. We need to have order. Max, you know where you are living. You turned your back on Zimbabwe for good cause, so that you can learn how others are organized. Share with us, be part of us, so that we can convert these loose connections into a community that is interested in property matters. If you are watching there, you are listening there, and you are interested in property matters, please share this video. It's free, but I'm not free. So please share it. Let others know that without order and structure, bullshit becomes the next address. Complain and complain, but nothing will change. We will actually need to reform from land tenure and security. They look into spatial planning next. Not weekend blessing. You are blessed already to say, I want to be part of this initiative where my name, my face is part of it. So we become part of a community to ask the difficult questions. Why should I put my money in a lion's den and I can't get it? If I can't get liquid cash, what will happen in 10 years? Imagine I'd invested in 1980 with a view to cashing out in 2019, 39 years later. Now I'm stuck with the house. I can't sell it because nobody has got the cash. Nobody will give the people who want to borrow money for a mortgage. The whole system is collapsed. Do you see any chamisa of property? Do you see any ED of property? Any Professor Moyo of property? Or any one of these people who talk sense on property matters, who a person like Kura can look up to? This is Kura who approached me. Now you are talking. That's what we're afraid of. That's when you lose money. Then let me share with you what I got from Kura. So that was Kura. He calls himself regional property consultant and trainer at Citadel Property Zimbabwe. He has been there for 1 month. He was managing director of TSL Property from May 2019 to present. He was also at NASA from July 2016 to the present, 3 years and 5 months. He was a chief property investment officer, again at NASA, and where he stayed for I think he says 2 years until May. So I think there's some conflict there. Then non-executive director of Fortress Income Fund Limited, non-executive director of National Building Society, deputy chairman, non-executive director, Johannesburg Housing Company, managing director, Commercial Leapfrog Property Group, guest lecturer at University of Pretoria, Put Prop, non-executive director, and educated at University of Pretoria on Real Estate, a Master of Science, Harvard Business School, Real Estate Management Program, and De Montfort University, postgraduate diploma in business administration. Volunteer experience, the chairman of the South African Property Owners Association, Gauteng region, the chairman of Johannesburg Trust for the Homeless, the chairman Property Association dealing with education. That's Mr. Chihota. And you can't put your finger inside the lion's mouth. That's royal. Money follows money. There's nothing of value in terms of property in Zimbabwe. What will it be based on? That's Zakele. Zakele, the question I'm asking you, would you want to be an ambassador for change, but focusing on matters? Simple, yes or no. You can't put your finger into a lion's mouth. Let's just create our own lions, Royal Linda. Is it a yes or a no? Royal Linda, just give us your answer. We are not here to speculate and procrastinate. Kura is coming to see me tomorrow, and I agreed to see him. on your behalf that we need to have people in government who understand that money follows money, not slogans. No man will follow slogans. So far, we don't seem to have politics who are talking about money following money. They think that a scarf, imagine a scarf, would cause you to lose money or to make your money leave your bank account and travel to Zimbabwe without the people who are there ensuring that they are earning the trust of the people with money. Do you get the sense that a scarf can do it? Can a scarf persuade you to invest money where your spirit is not? So, this is your opportunity to be able to add your voice. So ask him, as we are asking you, then come back with feedback. I have nothing to come back with unless you are a member of the Banking on Africa's Future. We want order and structure, Royal India, not prostitutes going into the market to solicit information that cannot be found. He doesn't know everything to be known, but what he knows is what he knows. He's got the experience on property matters. I've just given you his CV. Let's not ask impossible questions. Nobody knows. A scarf is soft as a wool. No investment will follow fake currency. That's what we want. To go and talk to people in Zimbabwe and say, please don't delude yourself that you can fake your way out of problems. Let's us be honest. Max, would you want to be part of this project, Banking on Africa's Future? Let's not keep on talking about scarves. We are not wearing them. Let those who wear scarves be reminded by those who don't wear scarves about what time it is. It's time to be honest, it's direct. If you are interested in aggregating the voice of reason, please come forward. Please step forward. Step. Let's not have the tendency of consuming propaganda on social media. Then we call it something that it is not. So I'm asking, if you are watching, are you interested in being part of what diverse opinions, where your opinion is given a voice, a face? We all don't have to be in Zimbabwe. Mr. Chihota can do that for us. This is what he wrote to me. In all honesty, he wants solutions. He doesn't want too much talk. So what did he write to me? He wrote to me this morning, and let me just share what he wrote to me. So that you can see. Thank you, Webster. That's all. Not politics of Zimbabwe. We know that already. Thanks so much. I'm branching out on my own investment consulting to clients in Zimbabwe, debt and equity raises, syndicated developments, portfolio assembly. We have just had our REIT framework passed in Parliament. That's all he is saying. You sound like you are in same WhatsApp group. Royal India, I don't know what that WhatsApp, but let's talk. So let's build the Zimbabwe that we want by being the voice that is missing. Where there's a gap, somebody must fill it. But Linda, that's not the way to accuse somebody. You sound like, we want to know who Linda is. Where do you stand, Linda? Rather than pointing fingers at others. If you are not in, it's fine. If you want to be part of the change that you want to see, that's fine. But let us not point fingers at others. If you don't want and you don't see that you count, by all means, ignore. But if you believe that, like Kura believed on his own, reached out to me, not knowing what I would say, but he just understood that I could find best expression, best legs, if it's shared. And I have agreed to meet with him with nothing but ears. What do I lose? I lose my time, which I lose anyway on these social platforms where there's no order and structure. We keep on talking about the same thing, blaming the same people, talking about shit wall, and maybe we are the shit in the wall. Why do we dig our own graves, then complain about the graves? Let us not be and assume others to know what we're thinking. Let us be the face of change. Let us be the voice of change. If you can borrow me 501% to start with, I'll be in. That's what a person does. If you can take me to heaven, then I'll go to church. Never seen that logic, but it comes from somebody, a human being like me. What are we trying to say here? Pay me to go where I want. If I want knowledge about property matters, it doesn't matter where you are. Property is property. But we're told that somebody must pay. I must tell Kura Chihota that pay me for me to listen to you. What kind of civilization are we creating? I hope that we will apply our minds on what's in us and where we want to go. Not as individuals, but each one of us. We have a story to tell, and we are telling our stories daily. We just want to find a way of disaggregating ourselves, democratizing our voices so that instead of seeing Mawere, see somebody else. Instead of Mawere going to talk about property, there are people who can talk about property. Is that not clear? Is that not clear for you to make your own decision, not to insult me and say, give me something to do what I think must be done? If it was not Mandela, imagine Mandela was asked to nominate somebody to go to Robben Island. Who would that person have been? Let us not be narrow. Let us be broader. Let us try to celebrate what is possible. So keep preaching until you enter our minds. Say, I'm not entering your minds. You are one person. Speak on your behalf. Preacher, I'm just myself. I got a request this morning that I thought would be useful to share with a person like you. I don't know you. And if I don't know you, please treat me with respect. Respect me so that I can respect you. All I'm asking, do you want to be part of this organized and structured conversation? Or you can say, yes, I want, or no, I don't want. You don't have to speak about our minds. Because I got a mind that is not your mind. Treasure your mind and what it contains. But let's converge on something bigger than you, bigger than the arrogance that form our comments. Let us be broad-shouldered. Let us know that whatever comes has been driven by somebody before it comes into life. So I hope, if you are listening, we are not going to be minimalist or people who try to surrender the better angel in them into a little monster, into a little devil, only to prove a point that makes no sense. Let us invest. Those who want to know more about the BOF experiment or BOF initiative, please say so. You are being of help. Say, thank you very much. Thank you, Webster. That's the only comment that speaks to what I'm saying. I'm not asking of you to give up your life, to give up your money to invest in Zimbabwe. No. I'm saying let's start by a conversation. If you were an investor, would you put your money into Zimbabwe at this juncture? If not, can we then alert the people in Zimbabwe as to what is wrong with Zimbabwe? That would lead the country and never come back or live with any intention of what would make people like settlers leave Europe for Africa with one-way tickets. Or alternatively, leave Africa with one-way tickets so that they can prosecute the business of life wherever they may choose to do. So I'm coming to the, I hope those who see it as a sermon, that's wrong. But those who see this as a call to action, please act. Think twice. Let us not condemn the future to the minds of the few, only to blame the few who choose to act for acting positively. There are things we do, and we don't have to know everything. And let's celebrate the few things that have been revealed to us and the actions we have taken to make sure that our ideas find proper expression when they're shared with others. So that's the end of the story. Hope you have listened if you have. And I do hope that you act on it. And if you can share the video, just share. Make the audio for people who don't have data. Just share without limitation, without choosing. And let's get the comments of the people about associating and what can be done when we choose to have our voices. So I do have, hello, Munashi, Masuka, good afternoon. So I finished my part. Now I leave it to you to play your part. Please, 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 I implore on you, be the change. Nothing will happen from complaining. So we need to act differently. And Zakele, please, Zakele, we need you. Thanks for being there. Our connections to communities. Let us talk about property. Those who have left the country, please give us the voice that we need. Because without it, what do we have? It looks like I'm talking to myself. The people I must talk to are not responsive. So what next from now? Are you willing to become part of the Banking on Africa's Future? If yes, then say yes, and then identify yourself and make it easy for us to know you. Are we going to have Mr. Kura on the platform tomorrow? We can have him, but do we need him to be organized? We are not talking about property. We are talking about order and structure. Let us not build castles on air. If you are a property guy, Zim, please identify yourself so that you can be part of this brain trust. If brains are what we are talking about, you can be part of this promise. So Webster, you want to be part of this, that's good. So find others, Webster, share with them. That's this conversation, so that I don't repeat myself tomorrow or any time in the future. Time is too valuable. We can't keep going in circles. We can't keep complaining about England. When they said, let's break from Europe, they made a choice. But implementation is something. And today they are going for elections to determine which way forward. But they didn't sit back. They voted. And others, in hindsight, think the vote was wrong. And that's what life is. Let us make mistakes by doing. The first stage is to identify yourself, your proper name. And if you have a proper name, proper way of talking to each other, we can't be talking to phantom people. We have to talk to people like Webster Chipupi, Zakele Mabaso. He's here in person. Let us elevate our discussions. Let us not keep on playing games. You can't have soccer with money and You are not prepared to be part of organized soccer. There must be order. There must be in anything. Even basketball, table tennis, there is order. Even in religion, there is order, there is structure. But we can't talk about as animals and every day complain about Mnangagwa. Mnangagwa is not here. He'll never be on this platform. Yet he may think that he knows everything that happens in Zimbabwe. He doesn't know. He's like you and me. So order and structure. We have parliament. Yes, they've passed the law on REIT. We have the judiciary. Do they know anything about what it takes to build a successful economy? When Boris Johnson tried mischief on parliament, to prorogue parliament, what happened? Huh? They slowed him down and told them, no, our names. And he was stopped. If they can stop Trump and say, Trump, let's understand the phone call. Why make a phone call to talk about your competitor and slowing down your competitor? That is Trump being stopped by his own people who are organized. And they are saying, Mr. President, let's establish the truth, the facts. Facts don't hurt anybody. But let's not belittle ourselves and say we don't count. Yet as a husband, as parents, we count. As human beings, we count. So property guys, please identify yourself. Who are you? That should be the start. The second start is to share. Share this audio and make sure it goes to where it is supposed to go. Thank you. You can find this on my Twitter. You can find this on my Facebook page, Mutumwa Mawere, and share it as generously as you can. I share the conversation on my page, so now you can't comment in my personal capacity. We are all in and great to have people like you and your platform. Thank you very much. Just tell me your name so that in future I remember you and what you do. I know what Kura does, but I don't know who you are. So I don't want to refer you as Mr. Properties Guy Zimbabwe, because that's what I have recorded on my site. So it may be that I use the wrong name. Just identify yourself and just tell me. I got 2 minutes to go. Just identify, we know each other. And you can also inbox me or whatever, send WhatsApp message. This is my WhatsApp number, so that we can do, those who want to join and become part of this, you can, so that I send to the right people. That's my number. It's not a secret. So you can use it. Use it for good, so that we know each other. So Mr. Property Guy Zimbabwe, I know you because maybe I'm the one who just put you as Property Guy Zimbabwe. Or Nyasha Craig Goronga. Thank you very much, Nyasha. Because I think we are already in contact. In Zimbabwe structure and law, I'm not talking about Mr. Scarf here. I'm talking about Max. We'll also WhatsApp you, say, Max, don't keep on talking about Mr. Scarf here. Who is Mr. Scarf anyway? If it's not a gimmick to get your vote in 2023. So let's not talk about Mr. Scarf here. We have no time for scarfing here. So thank you, Blessing. So share the video, Nyasha. Thank you very much. I now know who you are. So please inbox me. Let's know each other. Send your picture so that when we have the next show, we have the show with the people. We want to reach the 10,000 mark. In the 10,000 bank, we want people in property. We want people to make money in property. We want people to be assured that we will fight to remove those who are standing in the way of progress. We can't be talking about the same thing for 40 years. Next year, Zimbabwe is turning 40. We can't be talking about this grown-up baby talking nonsense. So please, don't scarf it here. Don't introduce scarf here. We don't want any scarf problem here. We want to talk about property and what it takes to make sure that Zimbabwe is a great place to invest in. We don't want people to say people at conferences Zimbabwe is open for business when it's not, and we know that. The scarf will not convince people to invest money where others have lost money. We can't continue these games in the name of government, in the name of the people. There is no president who can be happy to know that he's presiding over poor people. That's not good politics. That's stupidity. That's foolishness. So let's create a bank of hope, not a bank of despair, not a bank of pain. So thank you very much. So I hope you will add your name to this list so that we can create a list, and orderly we should be. And we say, Mr. President, how can you be satisfied to be a president of dying people, going to hospitals where there are no medicine, there are no doctors? Surely any reasonable person will resign and say, this is beyond me. So that's where we want to get a Zimbabwe that works, not for people who think they're anointed, who think they're destined. Things must happen their way. Thank you.